It is one of the hottest tickets in the triathlon game, selling out year after year. And with more than 5,000 triathletes, it is one of the world's largest triathlon festivals. They have come from across the country, from around the world, young and old, rookies to world champions. This is Subaru Ironman 70.3 and 5150 Mont-Tremblant, presented by Sportium. Great Britain's Holly Lawrence took the women's professional title a year ago in a breakout season that culminated with the Ironman 70.3 world title. She is the one to beat, and everyone knows it. However, this is Canadian Magali Tessaire's hometown race, and the former champion wants her title back.
Mentally, I'm ready to give everything, and I want it.
For the Canadian professional men, an era like no other. Multiple Ironman 70.3 champions have shown up from across the country, led by the man who last year set one of the fastest Ironman times ever. The reigning Subaru Ironman 70.3 Mont-Tremblant champion, Lionel Sanders.
I live for this. This is what I've been training for. This is I think I'm coming into my prime now, and this is what I've been doing all the work for the last 7 years. So I'm embracing it, and I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I've been thinking about ways of how I could actually challenge him. So, he's a superstar, but doesn't mean he can't be beaten.
Well, he is human after all. He does have off days, but I wouldn't be in this sport if my plan was to only aim for second place. So I think he's definitely beatable. It's just going to take a spectacular day.
Lac Tremblant will be the site of the first of three disciplines, pro or amateur. The course, the distance, they're the same for everyone. Swim 1.9 kilometers, bike 90K, and then a half marathon. All taking place in beautiful Mont-Tremblant and the Laurentian Mountains.
Mont-Tremblant, this is a magical place.
In the moments leading up to the start, everyone has their rituals, their way of doing things. Perhaps the professionals more than most. Taylor Reid active until the very last moment. Lionel Sanders, the complete opposite. As 7 a.m. approaches, the professional men are set. Despite being a nearly 4-hour race for the pros, at the start, it looks more like a sprint than an endurance event. Everyone looking to get into the best possible position. And for many that means on the feet of a faster swimmer to take advantage of their draft.
I was actually looking for Anton. He was my target, and I knew that he was going to lead the swim out. He's a very, very strong swimmer, so I'm if I can just stick with him for half the swim, that'll set up really well. And luckily, I actually got to him.
Antoine Jolicoeur-Desroches quickly moving into the lead. Taylor Reid in this group as well. The professional women will be next. And right there in the middle, the defending champion and reigning Ironman 70.3 world champion, Holly Lawrence. Lawrence will set the pace in the water. For the other women, if they can, get in her wake and hold on. Trying to keep her in sight, American Sarah True, the former Olympian, entering her first year at the longer Ironman 70.3. Canadian Magali Tessaire is fourth, a great swimmer as well. But she has already lost the leaders. Her goal now, to minimize the damage in the water. Back on the beach, the amateurs have taken over. Thousands getting set to take their turn in Lac Tremblant. The military well represented this weekend in Mont-Tremblant. Here among our servicemen and women, Major General Christian Drouin, the triathlon patron for the Canadian Armed Forces.
When you get into the triathlon life, if you want, and way of living, That's when you get into the social part of it. You get to meet a lot of people outside the military environment, very fit, dedicated, and driven people. So you realize that there's a lot of type A personality out there that are from different environments. And we get to mesh really good with them.
They are now all in the water. It will be hours before they begin to make it to the finish line. A long day has just begun. Antoine Jalicoeur-Desroches once again leading the way in the water for the professional men. But unlike past years, he is unable to break away on his own. 5 men making up the front of the race. The cyclists will begin their journey on Mont-Tremblant before reaching Route 117. Jalicoeur-Desroches away first. A few seconds back, Taylor Reid and the other men set to begin the second discipline. 90 kilometers in total. The 2-time defending champion Lionel Sanders is on his way, and he is closer after the swim than ever before. 12th place, 2:40 off the pace. The 2017 edition of Subaru Ironman 70.3 Mont-Tremblant, presented by Sportium, is brought to you by Subaru, confidence in motion. Sportium and the Government of Quebec. This is Subaru Ironman 70.3 and 5150 Mont-Tremblant, presented by Sportium. The professional women set to move into the second discipline. 3 women exited the water, separated by just 5 seconds, with Holly Lawrence leading the way. Trying to keep her in sight, American Sarah True, the former Olympian entering her first year at the longer Ironman 70.3. Fellow American Jennifer Speldener holding on to 3rd. On the bike, the Ironman 70.3 world champion is known to go very hard right away. No deviation from that winning formula today. Magali Tessier will begin her pursuit in 4th. A local triathlon legend, one of the most decorated Ironman 70.3 athletes in the world. For Tessier, 2016 was a year to forget. One of her lowest points of the season coming right here in her hometown race.
Yes, I think last year, before I started the race, I had already lost the race. I was very tired, and I think mentally, physically tired, and it killed it for me. Couldn't handle the pressure on myself anymore, and I think that was one of the reasons why I pulled out, is I didn't want to have a complete, off day at home, and I was hard on myself about that. After 8 years, I almost stopped because I was, the same races, the same thing, and a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and I just felt like I had enough of it. Moving back here, I kind of disconnected and let the pressure off and let myself contemplate like if I had anything in my life that I wanted to do.
It turns out that what she wanted was to tackle the full distance, to do an Ironman. So she turned to fellow Canadian Lisa Bentley, an 11-time Ironman champion.
Started training with Lisa with just the idea of doing an Ironman, and then we would see. And so I trained and I loved the training.
Tessier clearly rejuvenated. She has cut her deficit to Jennifer Speldener and Sarah True in half. Now less than a minute off their pace. That is good news for Tessier. The bad news, Great Britain's Holly Lawrence is pulling away from all the women.
This was the first race, first 70.3 that I won, and I've just had so many good memories here, and it's always been a good place for me to race, and I love the course, I love, the scenery and everything, and it's such a well put together race that, it was just a no-brainer to come back.
At the front with the men, it is now an all-Canadian affair. From Ontario, Jackson Laundrie, Taylor Reid, and Quebec's Antoine Jalicoeur-Desroches taking turns out front. A pair of Americans are next, Sean Jefferson moving ahead of Lucas Pizzetta for 4th. But they are being tracked down. As expected, Lionel Sanders riding quicker than anyone. Fellow Canadian Cody Beals, his latest victim as he is dropped back into 7th.
This is always like the de facto Canadian Championships, and I think it's very realistic to see a podium sweep on the men's side by the Canadians.
Sanders has established himself as one of, if not the very fastest Ironman 70.3 cyclist in the world. American Lucas Pizzetta, the latest to see Sanders go by. Next, fellow American Sean Jefferson experiencing the same fate. Neither man even attempting to go with him. The Canadian men now holding the top 4 spots, with Sanders closing in.
Bike legs feel pretty good, so that's always good. Nice and cold, real Canadian summer here.
Welcome back to the Subaru Ironman 70.3 and 5150 Mont-Tremblant Triathlon Festival, presented by Sportium. This multi-day festival featured the Olympic distance, the Ironman 5150, along with a sprint race on day 1.
You're in the water, in the mountains, the sun, the water, everything is there. So, Tremblant number 1.
It brought together 3,000 triathletes, many doing their very first triathlon.
But this is just so exciting. I just can't believe it. My first one, and I'm a Cup fan. I'm just pumped.
Lionel is in my mind. I just had to decide when he goes by. Am I gonna go with him or am I gonna stick to my own pace?
It's decision time at the front for the professional men's race. Lionel Sanders passing Antoine Jolicoeur de Roche. Jackson Landry is next, as Sanders has gone from 12th place after the swim to 2nd.
When Lionel went by me, I was just praying that Taylor Reid was not going to try to go with him, because I was hurting pretty bad at that point. I was starting to burn, and I was actually hoping that the pace would ease up a little bit.
Sanders with just one man left to catch, Taylor Reid. Reid and Sanders had an epic battle here in 2015, going stride for 15 kilometers on the run. Sanders eventually pulling away to his first victory at Ironman 70.3 Mont-Tremblant. Reid finished 2nd in what he describes as the pivotal moment of his career. A pivotal moment in this race has arrived. Lionel Sanders taking over top spot.
So I was like, okay, when he comes by, just pretend he doesn't exist. Because I have to ride my own power. If I try and start riding with Lionel, something's probably going to just blow up eventually.
Sanders is seeking his 3rd consecutive victory at Subaru Ironman 70.3 Mont-Tremblant. This is the earliest he has ever moved into the lead.
Now that I'm improving my swimming, I'm having to learn to sort of race a little bit differently, because I'm actually seeing the front of the race, whereas I used to be like the hunter. And a few races now I've been the hunted, which has been an entirely different perspective that I've had to sort of wrap my head around.
For now, Sanders is pulling away. However, there is still plenty of racing remaining. Great Britain's Holly Lawrence was the leader out of the water. On the bike, she has continued to build on her advantage. The defending champion and reigning Ironman 70.3 world champion, already more than 7 minutes up. Canadian Magali Teixeira, unable to match the leader's pace, but she is going quicker than anyone else. Teixeira moving past American Sarah True and into 3rd. Her next target, Jennifer Speldener. She has made up 2 minutes on the pair of Americans. Now she will look to drop them.
Magali just comes bombing by us. She's just, she's a woman on a mission. She's very strong right now. And I think, okay, here's my race. If I'm going to have any chance to have a podium, this is it. This is my moment. I have to commit.
Jackson Landry and Taylor Reid continue their battle for 2nd as they reach the Subaru turnaround in Ville de Mont-Tremblant. However, they have completely lost contact with the leader. Lionel Sanders already more than 4 minutes up and counting. The amateurs continue making their way around this beautiful course, supported through their challenging journey by more than 1,400 volunteers. Supporting others always has been a major part of Ironman. Franch Hutchison is here doing her first Ironman 70.3 event. In fact, it is her very first triathlon. She comes in support of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's team in training, in memory of her beloved sister, Marie-Claude.
My sister passed away 2 years ago. She was 35. She was a passionate mother. She was the best mother I knew. She has 2 daughters, and she didn't want to leave. She just wanted to fight this cancer. And this is what I'm doing during this Ironman. I'm fighting for her. For me, it was important to participate in this event, not just only for myself, for my personal strength, but to honor her own strength. Before dying, she really trained really hard just to walk again. And for me, this Ironman is to honor her fighting, her strength, and her power, and her willing to just walk again. And also make sure that I was making the best out of my life. When she left and when she passed away, it was really important for me to find a reason to live.
Coach Lance is over here, so you guys will hurt on her.
France is one of the 57 teammates racing here in Mont-Tremblant with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's team in training. Their mission, to cure leukemia, lymphomas, Hodgkin's disease, and myeloma, and to provide a better quality of life for patients and their families.
Team in Training has trained over 650,000 athletes over our 30 years, and we have raised $1.5 billion for the mission of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Every 23 minutes, someone in Canada is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Every 72 minutes, someone dies of blood cancer in Canada. So while we've made such tremendous progress in the fight against blood cancers, there's still so much work to be done.
In times of doubts or pain, my sister's always with me. She's in there. She's giving me the power and the strength to go through this. And that's why I'm carrying it with me carefully.
The 2017 edition of Subaru Ironman 70.3 Mont-Tremblant, presented by Sportium, is brought to you by Subaru, confidence in motion, Sportium, and by the city of Mont-Tremblant and Tremblant. Take me to the top. Lionel Sanders has set a course record on the bike in a time of 2:01:54. He is out front and in command. Jackson Laundry will come into T2 in second place. His deficit to the leader, 5 minutes and 48 seconds. Just 13 seconds behind Laundry is Taylor Reid, as their battle moves to the run course. Sanders may be known for his cycling prowess, but he is an incredible runner as well. 21.1 kilometers, a half marathon, the final discipline to cover. Cody Beals rode almost the entire bike course on his own. He will head out onto the run course alone as well, 60 seconds out of a podium position. Laundry and Reid are setting a blistering pace early on as their battle for second heats up.
We came out of transition and I tried to gap him right away.
Put in a little bit of a surge to get on his shoulder, and then I just thought I gotta hang on here. Went through a couple of hills and now I'm thinking, I think I can go to the front here. I wanna dictate this pace.
Now all of a sudden I'm in the herd box being like, oh my goodness, like, can I sustain this pace? Can he sustain this pace?
Like Sanders, Holly Lawrence is in control, although her advantage is even bigger. Mont-Tremblant's Magali Tesser into T2 more than 8 minutes back. Her thoughts are not on who is ahead, it is on who is behind. Just 7 seconds back is Jennifer Speldenner. But it is American Sarah True, just 34 seconds back, that Tesser is most concerned with. 2 men on a pace that they hope the other cannot sustain. They have trained together. They have raced head-to-head. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. Taylor Reid with a surge. Jackson Laundry unable to respond. With this pass on Jennifer Speldenner, Sarah True has taken over third. The reigning Ironman 70.3 world champion leads. A 16-time Ironman 70.3 champion is second. A former ITU standout in third. The triathlon stars have come out at Subaru Ironman 70.3 Mont-Tremblant. Sarah True has patiently reeled in Magali Tesser. Second place will be decided between these 2 women. He is the king of Mont-Tremblant, his third straight victory here. Lionel Sanders is the 2017 Subaru Ironman 70.3 champion. He was second in 2015 to Sanders. Once again, Taylor Reid with an incredible race as he captures the runner-up honors. Cody Beals with his first ever podium here as he crosses the line in third. A sweep for the Canadian men, with Lionel Sanders once again taking the top step. Sanders with a time of 3:46.04, Reid 6:14 back, Beals taking third, Jackson Laundrie in fourth, and Antoine Jolicoeur de Roche finishing in fifth.
I remember having goosebumps coming down the cobbles of this race, so I think it's the only kind of race that evokes that like emotion in me. For some reason this has more of a kind of meaning to it.
Holly Lawrence, once again the champion of Subaru Ironman 70.3 Mont-Tremblant. Sarah True quickly making the transition from Olympic to Ironman 70.3 racing as she captures second place. With the support of her hometown crowd, Magali Tessier taking third. The Canadians with 4 out of 6 podium spots here in Mont-Tremblant. Great Britain's Holly Lawrence on top for the women. Lawrence with a time of 4:14.24 to take her second consecutive title. True, Tessier, Jennifer Spildiner, and Amber Ferreira, the top 5 women. The day may be wrapping up for the professionals. For most of the amateurs, there is still work to be done. The members of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's team in training are spread across this 21.1 kilometer run course, brought together by a common cause. As supporters of the LLSC, they are an integral part of changing the landscape of blood cancer. Not someday, but today. France Hutchison will push through towards the finish line, not because her sister Marie-Claude died, but because she lived. That passion for life is something France wants her 2 nieces to embrace.
My nieces are really important, and it's really important for me to have them there at the finish line, and I wanted to share this lovely celebration in honor of their mother.
Major General Christian Drouin has been crossing triathlon finish lines for 25 years. Some things never get old.
It was the best organized race I've run.
For France Hutchison, her very first triathlon, for it to be an Ironman 70.3, remarkable. Amazing what the body can do when it really matters within one's soul. For Marie-Claude's loved ones, a celebration of life here at Subaru Ironman 70.3 Mont-Tremblant.